Alright, hello, welcome to Fledgling Fighters number 16. We're going to be bringing you some Street Fighter action on a Thursday. I am Boombox here to take you through. I've got ECO with me. How are you, ECO?
Hello, Boombox. I'm doing great. It's odd, me and you doing commentary on a Thursday night instead of a Wednesday night. What is this? It's a
I
parallel
know.
universe.
Well, look, it's just good to mix it up. Variety is the spice of life, as they say.
It truly is. But yes, this is not, speaking of mix-ups, this is not a certain mix-up. This is indeed Fledgling Fighters 14. We've got, quite a few people here tonight. A few names that should be familiar to people that have been watching this new season, as it were, of Fledgies commencing.
Yeah, it's good to see people getting involved. Good to cut your teeth, play that tournament environment. It's always slightly different the first time you jump on a stream match, or, it's a bit like the transition from a lab to a match with your combos. Again, that transition from playing ranked against someone you'll never meet in your life, first to thinking about you're on stream, someone's actually paying attention to what you're doing. So it's good to see people, getting involved and really testing themselves. So I'm excited to see what our players have for us this evening.
Yeah, as am I. I'm hoping we get. This might be the first week. This is, I believe, the third week of overall of Fledgies being back, and this is the first time we're going to have a chance for a repeat winner, because last fortnight's winner, Jandalbars, has now aged out of Fledglings, hit master, congrats to Jandals, but can't compete anymore. But the very first winner we had, Pong Fury, still working away in those ranked mines in this tournament tonight, so we might get our first double champion. But, there's an entire bracket out to stop Tong from doing that, so we'll have to see how he goes with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, bittersweet. You love to see a graduate from Fledglings, even if we selfishly would love to see them around, every couple of weeks, throwing fists on a Thursday night, but onto bigger and better things, and always improving those skills, and I guess that's what it's all about in the end.
Exactly. So I believe that our first matchup could be, if I'm reading this correctly, which I always am, Shanks and Sir Grant. So Shanks, Manon player. Sir Grant was playing Ed before, but has been bullied by the Kimberly Coalition into repping the Kim. Once again, we had Beans and Sai in the chat forcing the Kimberly upon his shoulders, which Grant seemed, there's a bit of a hostage situation going on, but so we'll see if Sai and Beans have put him in the hyperbolic time chamber, got his Kimberly up, or if we'll see him slinking back to Edward and escaping the clutches of his tormentors.
That's it. Maybe I'll need to get. I played a fair bit of Ed before Bison dropped, so maybe I'll have to round up Luke, and we'll get in his ear and see if we can get him back on the Ed train, because I do love seeing an Ed in the right hands, controlling that space. The stylish combos. I think he's just a fun character to watch. Not that Kimberly's not fun to watch, obviously. The mix is just a bit disgusting sometimes.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. I'm seeing some very emphatic comments in our chat from someone who may or may not be Beans, saying that it's not forced, he enjoys it, he's having fun.
I see Pocket X here as well, so the chat is overrun with Kimberlys, and they're getting what they wanted. Looks like that's who we're seeing to start this match.
Yeah, we'll see if the cheer squad helps bring it home for Grant.
But, this is, I guess, a classic rushdown and grappler sort of matchup where whoever gets their offense started, it's going to be very, very hard for the other person to stop that from happening. So it's possibly going to be a match of seesawing hard knockdowns. And there's that command grab early from Shanks. 3 medals and taking that first round.
And a big perfect to cap it all off as well. Just exactly what you want to see is the Manon. you know, never going to be upset about going in with a couple of medals into the going rounds. But Grant has woken up, he's chosen violence, and he's saying, here's that corner mix that Kimberly... Oh!
No, blocked. Read it. Oh, and it looks like, I mean, I don't mean to call myself a prophet, but so far, we've seen Sir Grant working. Oh, there was a jab trade. I was going to say, are we going perfect for perfect? This is exact. I said it'd be a seesawing match, and that's exactly what we've seen so far.
Yeah, well, that trade at the beginning there is going to ensure that there'll be no more perfects, at least for this round, but crucially last round, Shanks was not able to gain any more medals, so Grant's trying to keep that momentum, has the spray can, but doesn't quite get anything off it.
Yeah, very solid defense there from Shanks. Held that mix, and Sir Grant not showing enough to open Shanks up, and the spray can just fizzles out. Great use of the anti-air and then the vacuum and the throw on the DI for Shanks to take that first game.
Yeah, you gotta be, like, the vacuum, especially when it catches your aerial, you gotta be so careful about, because it's a reset, and if you're not ready to be reset like that, you know, as we just saw, you soon find your face hitting the ground, as Grant just did.
Yeah, I think we saw the start of a DI. I wonder if it was meant to be a drive reversal, wanted to deal with that mix by using that reversal option, and unfortunately just got a regular DI, which was thrown, but so Grant will have to put that behind them because it's a new game and there's still plenty of chances to take back control of this match, starting with the back throw.
Yeah, and this time starting with no extra medals on for Manon, which Sir Grant's definitely going to be happy about, but even so, Shanks is doing a good job of just very slowly walking Grant into the corner. Oh, big escape by Grant though.
Yeah, the neutral jump doing a lot of work for Sir Grant so far, and there's the cross up to the other side, the shimmy, oh, but the button wasn't long enough. Had the right read, caught Shanks reaching, but unfortunately the button was just short and instead gets whiffed, punished themselves. Now Shanks sitting on match point.
Yeah, we're really seeing the kind of Kimberly game plan, which I guess, especially against a grappler, makes sense, which is kind of try and be everywhere on the screen at all times. As long as that everywhere isn't in Manon's arms. Great counter DI there from Sir Grant.
Yeah, big opportunity. Oh, but drops the combo before can go into the level 3. Kim, more than anyone, wants to spend those 3 bars as soon as she can, because she does get a movement and a damage buff when she can get it off, which can help in the later rounds. Oh, the run stop empty into the stand jab.
Just a cheeky little slap in the face. But yeah, an early round start level 3 is never a bad idea from a Kim. At this point though, it looks like if we will be seeing Sir Grant's level 3, it might not be until the final round, assuming he lives to the final round. Shanks definitely not gonna... The blocked drive reversal is such a death sentence against grapplers. There's the level 3 though!
Oh, unfortunate.
And finishes it in style, does Shanks, with a command grab to seal the deal.
Yeah, and it's very, very frustrating when you use a reversal option for the first time, whether that's a drive reversal, whether that's an ODDP, and then it gets blocked the first time, even a reversal super, and you're like, I haven't represented that all match. Why were you ready now? I was sure I was going to be safe to throw that out at that point.
Yeah, no, it's the, you know, how dare you? I conditioned you to not expect this and you expected it anyway. How dare you? But good pick.
I've used a whole bottle of Head and Shoulders and I haven't done any conditioning of you, and that's frankly outrageous.
And yeah, it's especially, you know, speaking of ODDPs, you know, with Kim not having one of those, you know, does mean you have to rely on slightly more committal options there, like just ripping the level 3 and hoping that it works, and in this case it didn't. But as Bean says in the chat, back to the dungeon, I mean lab, for more for more work on the Kimberly. So I'm sure next time we see Grant, the continued beatings will have hopefully had some positive effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe even just I feel like the jump with the 3 options that Kim represents, where you can get the cross up, you can get the land in front, you can get the command throw. Shanks wasn't doing a great job of dealing with that. Got caught a few times by the cross up. So Grant could have almost been more disgusting and just kept representing it until Shanks showed that he could deal with it. You know, sometimes you have to, you know, just you mix is good, but the no mix up, if they don't respond, can be just as effective, if not more so.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, also the kind of full screen. Kimberly's so good at it. The kind of full screen walk away from you and then immediately just command slide into your shins again. That caught Shanks a few times, but unfortunately, you know, neither option is quite enough to see. You know, there has to be more than just potatoes. You need your meat and your potatoes and your green vegetables and so on and so forth. You know, both of those options, they're decent mix up. They do decent chunks of damage, but they're not really going to get the party started in the way that, especially a damage opposite of normalized, a damage and normalized character like Kimberly needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got one of the newcomers up against the poster boy of the series, Takoyaki Fiend, representing the Ryu Flex. Another Manon on stream. On a big jump in early with the full combo and the corner carry. Great early opportunity here for Flex. The wall spat DI, but no follow-up. Just a meaty throw trade. It wasn't the OD DP, and then just letting it rip is Takoyaki Fiend. Oh, unfortunate. I think that was a Hadouken instead of a DP. Had the opening.
Oh, the big perfect parry into the first medal we've seen, and you know, it's not going to do a ton of damage off a parry, but it also doesn't matter because you just want to stack those medals up. There it is again off the DI. 3 medals to go into the next round. Flex Mastodon with the first round to them, and I love saying the name Flex Mastodon. And there's a 4th medal. Already looking good, but the OD Shoryuken. Oh, and let's lose another one. That one might have meant to actually be a Hadouken, but either way, it's a DI.
Oh, but no full combo there. Oh, gets caught by the jump in. That's doing so much work. That I think that's what, jump medium kick for Manon from Flex. Not a button you see as often because her jump heavy kick is almost a pseudo dive kick.
But
it does a lot of work.
The good jump in, and then the Manon Infinite, the stand medium punch on a burned out opponent, just absolutely brutal to try and work your way through.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're left, you think, okay, I'll just block it out, and then suddenly micro walk, command grab. And speaking of command grabs, a blocked DP. Takoyaki possibly, and gets caught with the crouching medium kick, gets DI'd, and there's 4 medals going into this possibly final round for Flex. Takoyaki now going to have to make, I was about to say, start making some big decisions, and there's 2 of them. 1 neutral jump and a DI on the sweep. Oh, but
the jump back fireball, the classic Ryu gameplay that we love to see, eats another DI. This is a game of, this set has truly been just a set of DIs, you know, eating DIs, throwing DIs out. Massive damage going to come in from the level 3 thanks to the 4 medals powering it up, but it does mean that, you know, Manon doesn't have an invisible reversal of her own, now has no supers to use as reversals either.
Oh, big whiffed DI, gets a big punish counter, but ready with the tech on Wake Up is Takoyaki. Oh, but unfortunately tried for another DI and gets thrown out of it. Flex takes that. I'm already getting my Manons mixed up. But that's Flex taking it 2-0 over Takoyaki Fiend. And as you said, you know, both of those players representing big buttons, big specials, a lot of sweeps, some sort of neutral Hadoukens and that sort of thing. And the immediate adaptation we saw was that they were both leaning on that DI to try and blow up those options when they were coming out.
Yeah, and in the end, you know, especially, I think, with those unfortunate drops that Takoyaki was having, it definitely benefits Flex more as the Manon to get pickups from DIs, because you don't need to worry like, oh, do I do a combo and accidentally drop something or whatever. It's just, I command grab you. Either I have a bunch of medals and you explode, or I get a bunch of medals and the next time I do this to you, you explode.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw the perfect parry into the command throw as well at one stage from Flex Mass on there. So showing all of the different ways that Manon can notch up a medal, and that's what you need to do. It is part of the game plan if you're going to have success with that character and get the robbery that she is famous or infamous for, depending on how you feel about the grapplers generally, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And looks like the reward, Flex's reward for winning that is going to be pulling back-to-back double duty, as they're scheduled to be up next again, this time against Tater Potato, who rocks the DJ. So from, the classic honest, neutral Ryu, the bread and butter of Street Fighter, to a far more devious kind of fighter and DJ with all of his funny feints, mix-ups, the kind of tricks we'll see if that's kind of able to throw off Flex, or if they're going to be able to run their same plan of just, look, I'm going to smack you with the DI, and then I'm going to command grab you, and you're going to explode.
Yeah, well, and DJ, one of those characters that is somewhat susceptible. A lot of his good buttons in neutral are a little bit susceptible to DI. So if that's a regular part of Tato Potato's game plan, and that's something that and Flex is going to keep representing the DI, which I know Manons at a lot of levels still like to do, might have to make some adaptations on the fly. DJ, one of the best characters in Season 1, undisputedly, recently got some apology buffs because Capcom realized they maybe went a little bit too hard taking chips off the game, the tool sets of those Season 1 top tiers, while simultaneously releasing characters like Akuma and Bison. But it'd be interesting to see what the DJ can do. Obviously, very, very strong fireball game, and able to keep grapplers and other characters out if they want. But as you mentioned, also got plenty of mix-ups for a character that doesn't have a lot of great reversal options.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, Flex is only going to have to bite on one or two baits to really start getting blown up, but that big punish counter throw into the corner to sort of, and the double DI, the counter DI by Flex, looks like they're off to a pretty decent start with a hit grab there to get their second medal, keep the corner pressure going.
Oh, the slide is unsafe, blocked, and the full combo from Flex to take that first round.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Ooh! Yeah, one of the buffs you got actually was that you can combo after that ground bounce there, but didn't get anything from Tato there. Flex is just so awake right now. 2 DIs have been instantly counter DI'd, no hesitation. Ready to tech the throw there as well.
Yeah,
and another counter DI!
On that DI button for Flex, whether it's to respond or to let one rip, and it's paying dividends for now because Tato's going to be very, very close to burnout and in critical health, and then the dash up, punish, counter, command throw to seal that first game. 3 medals, caught him pressing parry on wake up. Huge damage to finish that.
Yeah, Flex definitely seems like he knows. Oh, takes a bit of damage there, but definitely seems like he feels fairly comfortable with the DJ matchup as he walks into the heavy machine gun upper, which you hate to see, but knowing when to, tech on that DJ combo string, another DI. I think this is definitely like, if you're watching this and you're going to be playing in the bracket, do not throw DIs at Flex. I think that is one lesson that we've definitely learned, if nothing else, from watching these 2 sets that they've been playing so far. Do not DI Flex. You will regret it.
Do not test their reactions. They are ready. Maybe they have. I don't know if you've seen the extra little extender on the fight stick, so it doesn't hurt your pinky as much to press the DI. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a keyboard Chad, so I wouldn't know anything about having a sore pinky. I have perfect ergonomics. Thank you very much.
And a big unfortunate there for Tato. Managed to block the super, but let go a little early. Unfortunately, Manon super, a little bit like Chun-Li's and some others, Juries as well. All big OD reversal. One touch now from Tato and just lets the slide rip. Had already pressed it before the flash of the drive rush from Flex. Tato takes a round. Is this the reverse 2-0 in the making? So far, not. Big, unfortunate trade, and so ready again for the DA, this time going for the command throw, and that's 4 medals.
Yeah, no, Flex is so close to just taking it right now. You know, almost anything will be able to kill, and there it is. Just Manon's damage when she has those medals and she gets just even one throw of you just cuts how much longer the round is gonna go by so much because you just explode so viciously.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought maybe it was a jump that got caught out, but I think unfortunately for Tato it was a slightly mistimed meaty button. Unfortunately, Flex was able to interrupt with the crouch jab on Wake Up and get that combo that had the right idea going in for the meaty, putting that pressure on Wake Up. But obviously, as you said, once Manon has 3, 4, especially 5 medals, you're constantly wanting to neutral jump. You're constantly concerned about getting command grabbed, but she's got so many good anti-air options, which will blow you up with regular combo damage instead if you rely on that too much because you're scared of the command grab.
Yeah, that was great job, and also like just in general, good stamina by Flex as well. Because like, especially when you're playing in front of an audience, like on tournament, it can be very easy to get just shaky, like from nerves, from anticipation, from whatever else. And like as soon as you're done, it like all crashes into you, and you kind of like switch off almost a little bit because of how highly strung you've been, but then, immediately playing a second game, showing no signs of that, not looking shaky in the slightest, looking more alive than ever almost.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, as you said, and we saw at the very start, instead of being fatigued, Flex absolutely locked in. Those DIs were almost inhuman. The way as soon as the flash came out, was ready with the button, had the response.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely locked in. I guess that depends on the player. Some players are momentum players. I feel like they're the players that have those killer losers runs where they might be a bit slow to warm up at the start. They lose early on, and then they just get better and better and better as you smash through the loser side, and then they end up taking the whole thing because they're so momentum based. They're playing so many games, and they play themselves into some form. They lock in because they know that their back's against the wall, and one loss will see them out of the tournament. So it really does depend on the player in these tournament settings, especially double elimination. Some people, for some reason, thrive in losers. Others really appreciate, as you said, that chance to play, get the nerves out, get it out of their system, go on, play as few matches as possible, and just keep really centered and keep focused that way instead.
Yeah. And shout outs to losers, demons. Last night Volian got knocked into losers in the top, and then just blitzed his way through. Took the title right from under Luna, despicable fashion. And yeah, like people that can do that are just absolutely crazy to have the mental fortitude of just being like, every match is potentially the final match unless I play this perfectly, and I am gonna play this perfectly, and I will continue to play this perfectly until I win, is really impressive.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Or it's either that or they just like get super relaxed and they're like, well, I lost early and whatever will be. And then suddenly tension's out of the body. They're not overthinking anything. Suddenly they're psychic and they're like, I'm going to press this button because he's about to press that button. And suddenly everything is just clicking and you hit that flow state because you're suddenly not stressed about it. But I guess that takes a different kind of mentality uh, as well.
Yeah, and I will say a slight addendum to what I said before, which is, Flex has proven don't throw DIs at him. The other thing is, you can't let him get away with that for free. Like, he's shown that he's very ready to DI you if you're, to counter DI you, but you can't let people just coast on, like, their perceived ability, even if there's someone that's really good at doing like anti-airs. Yeah, it means jump less, but it doesn't mean that you should never jump, because then you're just losing an option for yourself. So in the same case, be aware that if you throw a DI at Flex, it is very likely you will be counter DI'd, but don't make that a reason that you can never throw a DI, because then you're just losing an option for your arsenal that might save you at a moment if you're ready to use it at an appropriate time to the Manon brain runs deep. That's true, Beans. So true.
Yeah, well, and as we were saying with Manon on the medals, and if you refuse to stand close and challenge for that space because you're scared of getting command grab, so you jump a lot. Similarly, if you're scared of DI because they've got the reactions, and then you let them get away with big unsafe buttons because they're not fearing it, again, that's going to work to your disadvantage. A bit like we talked about Ed at the start of the stream. Ed is one of those characters where if you can get the timing right, if they're going to abuse the flicker slash snatcher, uh, depending on whether you started playing Ed in Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 6, but if he's going to use that move, if you don't represent that you're going to, move up and DI at a range to catch before they can backdash and show them that they can't just charge it in your face for free, they'll keep using it because it is such a good tool. So it's one of those things that it's really hard, as you said, to give advice of like, people will anti-air you, so don't jump. But if you never jump, then they're going to be so focused on your ground approach that it's going to feel like you can't open them up. It's a matter of choosing when and testing your opponent and seeing when they'll react and how they'll react. And if they can't respond to a certain option, keep using it if it keeps working.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't ever let your opponent make your choices for you. Like, if they're trying to clearly condition you into something, obviously to some extent, you have to follow that. Like, if they are throwing you again and again in the corner, at some point, you do have to decide, alright, is this the time that I tech? Because you will just die if you never do it. But also, you can't be like, I'm just gonna let myself be conditioned. They've shut off options for me, so I'll just never pursue those options. You gotta keep every option open, but as you said, it's about just having the awareness and the knowledge, and both of those take time to build up. Like, it's not something that can be strictly like studied. It's almost more one of those kind of ephemeral things where you kind of have to feel it. Like, obviously experience helps a lot, but you just kind of have to feel, is this the time where they've let their guard down? Because it's not like your opponent's going to be telling you. They're not going to be saying, "Oh yeah, buddy, I've stopped watching for your aerials. You can jump in now," But you're just going to have to find that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why it's so hard when you're just starting out and people talk about fundamentals. Like, your fighter game fundamentals is almost that feel, it's not footsies necessarily. That's a different thing. It's not, with punishing. It's not all. I feel like part of the fundamentals that people talk about that make those experienced players so strong and so easy to pick up new games is that they have that sense of what their opponent's going to be doing. They know when to cycle through their options. They can get a read on what their opponent's going to be doing. And as you said, there's no shortcut to that. It's just experience, and you can't beat yourself up about not getting it, because it's not the kind of thing that you can learn in a lab. You can't play CPU level 8 and be absolutely game perfect because it's reading your inputs and get really lucky. There's no way to do it other than exposing yourself to better players, taking the time to play, seeing how they do what they do. And it just sort of becomes ingrained. I think that's why I think sort of mid Street Fighter 4's life, we saw that change from true like feel players before knowing all of the frame data was essential. And it was all of those players who go back to the arcade days where you didn't have that kind of information. You just showed up and you were sort of, you got a sense, almost an instinct for when something was unsafe or your opponent. Now it's much more crucial to know what button to press to punish things and know the frame data, but you still need those skills to read an opponent to make the most of that.
And speaking of people that have a kind of almost preternatural ability to just always RPS correctly, I almost feel like I was gonna say this, and then he showed up, and now I feel like I'm only saying it because he showed up. But I swear I was gonna say this before he showed up in the chat. Volian, every time I watch his games, and like, you know, for Flex and for Shanks, like the other Manons in here, Volian is definitely someone to be watching because God, his Manon is on another level. But like Volian, every time I watch him, just looks like he has never made a wrong decision in his life. Like he is just a god at rock paper scissors, and obviously that, like when you say it like that, it sounds like I'm saying, oh, he's just good at being random. No, like he's obviously incredibly good at the game as well, but he just seems to always have the right read on any situation. Anything that like seems like it would be some kind of an insane gamble. Like when Volian does it, doesn't feel like a gamble. It feels like everything is just going according to his plans, that he's, you know, six-dimensional chessed out before the match has even begun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that is, as you say, almost impossible to explain, and it is that raw instinct that players get, especially grappler players. So much of playing a grappler is very quickly getting a read of what your opponent likes to do, and then one, exploiting it, and then two, starting to go against it, so that then you're living rent free in their head, where they think they've started to get a sense of how you like to run your offense, and then suddenly you show them something completely different, and then they feel like they're starting all over again, while you're still just running through this complex flowchart and making it feel like you're making them guess, even though you're also having to guess to keep your offense going.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, uh, exactly expected of like grapplers, the fact that because your options are these kind of massive damage attacks, it adds that extra layer of like mental stack on opponents that you can use in the way that characters that win kind of death by 1,000 cuts have to condition their opponents and have to kind of apply pressure in different ways. Like, you know, a Kami can apply all kinds of pressure, but they have to constantly be applying that pressure by hitting you. You know, like, you're never looking at a Kami like, oh yeah, if I guess wrong once, I'm gonna take 50%, you know? So you have a bit more like brain processing power for each individual circumstance, which is why a Cammy or a Kim or like a Jamie will try and make you guess as often as possible, because each guess is like taking less processing power. Whereas like a Geef or a Manon, like or a Bison, like someone that can blow you up in 2 interactions, 3 interactions, not just can but will every single day. You know, they tend to be able to make you guess less often, but each guess kind of overloads your mind more and more every time. But speaking of Manon, still waiting for a place here, but one of them will be Shanks, so we are going to see. This has, in fact, I think been nothing but Manons on stream. This is the most Manon night of fledglings we've ever seen, because we've had Shanks on stream first as Manon, then we had Flex on stream as Manon, then we had Flex going back to back on stream as Manon again, and now Shanks is going to be back on stream as Manon again. So we're going to get 4 Manon matches in a row, and potentially, no, guaranteed 5, because Flex just won the previous match as well, and if Shanks beats Tong Fury, there will be a Manon mirror for this final leg of this part of the tournament. So this is an incredibly French night right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we're revisiting the Paris Olympics on Fledgling Fighters number 16, apparently. But you know, she is a very, she's got good buttons to play some neutral. Obviously, she has great robbery potential once she's got those medals up. So not surprising to see. She was one of the first characters I put any time into when I first started the game, as I was sort of drifting around and experimenting with who I would play. I understand the appeal, but looks like we do have our players locked in, and it looks like has Tong Fury betrayed you and
Yeah, I
changed
was about to
characters?
say, I don't know if you heard it, dear viewer at home, but that was the sound of my heart breaking in two. Tong Fury, who won the first of this regenerated fledglings on the Shin Jimmy, is no longer playing Jamie. I don't know if he played Jamie in his earlier matches tonight, or if he's been playing Ryu all the way. I hope he pulls out the Jamie again at some point, but right now he's on Ryu. I feel very betrayed, but my feelings don't matter here. Getting the dub at the end matters here, and if Tong has decided that Ryu is going to be the man to do it for him, then who am I to get in the way of that?
Well, and an interesting. I wonder if a part of it is for them a non-matchup. Obviously, Ryu's damage output is absolutely cracked. He does so much damage. One of the highest damaged characters, particularly early on in the game's life. There's the overhead as well, and the OD Fireball doing some work for Tong Fury so far. So I wonder if just get a bit more damage to counteract the medals from Manon. Maybe it's the Fireball to keep Manon out, or maybe just found new love in the face of the Street Fighter franchise as we get the Tatsu into the corner, and a great tech from Shanks early on.
Yeah, and fighting out with the lovely spin as well. But I was wondering if it was going to be the Fireball to try and keep Shanks at bay, but so far Tong has shown very happy to play up in Shanks's face. Like, has grabbed the Denjin charge once or twice and chucked out the Fireball once or twice. The next level buffering going on there, gets the grab, doesn't quite finish it.
Yeah,
almost. Back, are we going to see another Fireball? Oop, tries to grab with the jab.
Buffering. Oh, the non-OD DP gets blocked. Oh, just the drive rush, crouch jab, and a great interrupt there from Shinx. And now any touch will do. Oh, and the jump. What was that?
Jumping
jump
light punch, I think.
Light punch? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it was, just did just enough damage to get the job done, but one thing that you definitely have to be careful about, like, with the with the hyper buffering that we were seeing there, like, you know, on one hand, yeah, it keeps the opponent back because they're worried about, you know, the super potentially coming out, but it does make it a lot harder, big with Mega up there, it makes it a lot harder for you to actually be guarding in any kind of real way. It's really easy to be hit by lows if you just try and keep buffering those quarter circles one way or the other, so you have to be careful about overdoing it, otherwise you will just eat a fat, low combo starter.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's the back throw in the corner. Shanks had done enough. Tong Fury had got the offense started, but unfortunately a little too late, and all it took was one throw from Shanks. Was that a double Denjin charge? And there's a cross-up crouch medium kick into the Tatsu, and I don't think that was a safe jump, but it was a big, meaty jump medium kick, and we've got the Denjin charge again, daring Shanks to come forward and then catches with another jump in.
Yeah, really I think the double Denjin is how you can tell he's a Jamie player at heart. Just instinctively, I gotta press double down and punch to power up my character, and I gotta do this as many times as I can.
No one's told Tong Fury that you can't load up 5 Denjins like you can Jamie Tricks.
That would definitely be pretty crazy, but in the end there, Tong picking up the round, played pretty defensively, just happy to force Shanks to come to him and, you know,
yeah, getting
a few, at the end there.
A bit like this, going for a few jump-ins, build a life lead, and then try and make Shanks approach. But now we're seeing the anti-air
triple Denjin charge. My god.
Starting to see those anti-airs really being represented by Shanks, and now we're seeing the change of approach from Tong Fury. Can't just jump in as freely. Oh, big crouch medium. Oh, but unfortunately dropped the donkey kick, maybe the wrong strength donkey kick. And that will be enough for Shanks
It was an accidental. I've done this one before myself, not on Ryu, of course, but it was an accidental. He began the drive rush cancel, and then during the drive rush cancel, he did a second drive rush instead of getting whatever medium it was that he wanted, probably a medium donkey kick, I would imagine. He accidentally just did a second drive rush, which blew up his drive gauge, and of course made the combo drop.
Yeah, unfortunate. Now we're seeing another change of approach here from Tong Fury, just letting the plasma fly. We're seeing Street Fighter Super Turbo Ryu here. It's just crouch medium kicks and fireballs, and then just walk up crouch jab as well.
Yeah, Shank's trying to represent Manon's little fireball skip move there, but to no avail so far at least.
Yeah, Capcom in Street Fighter 6 designed a bunch of moves to get around fireballs and then decided not to make them work. Aki's didn't work at launch. Manon's hasn't really worked.
Jimmy's didn't work at launch.
Yeah, they nerfed
Cammy's, depending on who you're talking to, no longer works.
Yeah, they definitely changed when, so the timing at the very least is different for Cammy's Hooligan. And Tom Fury being very, very smart after throwing out so many normal fireballs is peppering in the OD fireball in the hopes that if it's cancelled off the crouch medium, that's 3 hits and it does blow up the DI attempts from Shanks. So not getting too samey, and now we're seeing, having changed that, now Shanks again is starting to get hit by some of these jump-ins again because it's been a few rounds, and there's jabs into the super, but the scaling gives a pixel of life for Shanks to try and keep this hope alive.
Ooh, big DI into the corner. Gonna get a hit grab medal here. If nothing else, just making sure they have a medal to show for the round to be able to... Ooh, big whiffed Shoryuken, but just outside of distance. Maybe needed to OD command grab to make it reach or drive rush first, but unfortunately came up short and got punished for the attempted whiff punish in turn.
Yeah, and then just the walk-up overhead punch from Tong Fury to take that. And I think I saw that it was a punish counter, so that means that it did catch Shanks trying to press something in that scramble towards the end. I'll double check, but I think we might need Tong Fury back in the room for this. Oh, right. Well, we'll be taking a 5-minute break, so don't go anywhere because we'll be having our top 4, is it? Our semi-finals, straight up.
Semi-finals, definitely semi-finals, that's for sure. We'll be having that next, so don't go anywhere. And we are back from the break. Thank you very much for sticking with us as we get into our semi-finals coming up. We're going to have Tong Fury back on our screens once again, and Flex Mastodon also back on our screens once again. The two of them doing everything they can to hog all of the screen time for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And another Manon, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, that Jamie worked Patong Fury before our little break up against the Manon from Shanks. Slightly different beast. The reactions there from Flex certainly representing a lot of DIs. So it'd be interesting to see if Tong relies on that fireball game, if it will blow up in his face almost quite literally if we see a similar use of the DI in neutral from Flex.
Yeah, though you do have to be a little careful about throwing out DIs on fireballs. If you do it too soon almost, there is a bit of time for the fireball thrower to counter DI you. But, and also, you know, if it's an OD, especially with Denjin Charge, it might just blow straight through, so you can't just mindlessly DI it, but it is a decent option, especially if you're a character that doesn't have the greatest options otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. But we did see we saw Tong Fury representing that crouching medium kick into the OD fireball, which is a guaranteed 3 hits. So as you say, there are ways if that's someone's go-to option for dealing with your fireballs, there are ways to make sure that you don't get blown up. Obviously, even some characters, just their regular OD fireball recovers in time as well. So, you know, it is a hard read, and you have to make those choices. Often, if you can get the timing right, obviously perfect parry and just taking that space if someone is being belligerent with the fireball pressure to take control of that space. But for some playstyles in particular, and Guile as a character since, well, in the early days of his design, since 5 and 6 he has more rush down options, but sort of fireball and then anti-air when you get sick of them and try to jump is sort of a tried and true playstyle in a lot of 2D fighters, so got to use every trick in the book to get around it.
Absolutely, but either way, we're sticking with the Ryu. We'll see if it will once more be the antidote to the Manon Venom, or if Flex will be just built different.
And already we see the crouch medium kick in to the OD fireball early from Tong Fury. Oh, but goes for the donkey kick and gets blown up by the DI. And now a great chance to get the offense going in the corner from Flex, but a great jump out into the cross up. And now it is Tong Fury with the chance to set some pressure.
So unlike before, and the grab actually does do it. I was gonna say, unlike before, not the one with the life lead this time, can't just afford to run away and run out the clock when you're the one whose life is in the yellow. But either way, the grab sealed the deal. We're into the second round.
Yeah,
Lot more throw teching happening this time. Just
yeah, and I was gonna say an empty jump throw worked once, and when Tong Fury went again, Flex was ready for it with the tech this time, and just bouncing either side, making the throws whiff, but not getting a chance. I don't know if that was a buffered Denjin charge. He doesn't even have level 3.
I don't think that one was buffered. Oh, the
oh, and just the punish counter throw to seal the deal. Didn't need it because he already had 3 bars, but that's optimal for meter build. So Tong Fury either just not wanting to mess up the punish or maybe just try to get some optimal behavior in there. Oh, and the crash medium kick into the DI wall splat, the OD Tatsu into the Shoryuken, but straight away, the back throw.
just
Another wall
trading
splat.
DIs in the corner, doesn't get the combo that time, whiffs the grab, and then just gets a second grab anyway. But now the Manon Infinite begins.
A great position here for Flex, the vacuum into the command grab, a Manon classic. Flex Mastodon taking first blood in this semi-finals, but it is first to 3, so plenty of time if Tong Fury wants to swap to the Jamie or to change up the game plan and see what else he can show Flex in order to take control of this match.
Yeah, and so far, it's oh, unfortunately just 2+ there, the command grab whiffs, but yeah, so far we have actually seen Tong has been pretty happy to let the DIs fly, and Flex hasn't been able to do his Matrix counter DIs this time, so, you know, perhaps cooled off a little after having a couple of matches of not playing on stream or anything, but will be something to see as the game continues if more counter DIs start coming out.
Yeah, it gives up the space to get the Denjin charge and ends up paying for it. Was giving Flex some trouble just keeping that plasma on the screen. But now we have Flex on the verge of taking a 2-0 lead, but as far as I'm aware, we are first to 3 now, so it isn't match point just yet.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time for adaptations, for upsets, for all kinds of changes to come in, but there's a big jump in, but doesn't fully commit to anything. Grabs the Denjin charge, another jump in. Tasu just to get the second screen. Oh! The level 2 misses, but the 3's too early! Sends it too soon.
Yeah, the cancel on the first option there instead of the wall bounce. Unfortunate. It happens to Ed sometimes too with the OD blitz, and that unfortunately sets it up for Flex to take it with a smidgen of health left. Flex going up 2-0. Will we see a character change, or are we repping Ryu? No, we're going straight in. It's the Ryu or die from Tong Fury here. Clearly confident that the character can get it done.
Big Shoryuken through the command grab attempt there. It looks like Tong Fury not falling off the Alcoholics Anonymous bandwagon anytime soon. He's given up the drinking life, and with a clear mind, able to pick up that first round.
Yeah, the Herbal Tea was doing horrors to his nerves. He was finding himself jittery. Had to swap to the calm, serene Ryu under the cherry blossoms instead.
Big donkey kick there to buy space, and again the double Denjin. You can take the Shin Jimmy out of the Tong Fury, but you can't take the down punch. Oh my god, the
bad manners, the taunt.
buffering.
He was not going for a level 3. I'm gonna call it out. That's straight up taunting, trying to maybe unsettle Flex as Tong Fury working on the first game of this set and trying to start this journey through to the reverse 3-0, and so far looking very strong, but it does eat an overhead there. Flex not changing the game plan in Burnout, trying to keep the pressure on. Not a bad option, but Tong Fury does enough and takes it to 2-1. So Tong Fury keeping this alive and looking to try and level this up in this game.
Yeah, and if anything else, I do think that the mind games are certainly having some effect on Flex, because we've seen a lot more kind of wild DIs coming out of him than the more measured ones from before, so his game definitely does seem to be a little thrown, as funny as that is for a Manon to have their game thrown. It does seem a little thrown by all of the baiting and general tomfoolery that Tong Fury is engaging in, but Tong able to pick up the first round of the 4th game there, looking to be on his way to tying it up 2 games apiece.
Yeah, and I think another, I guess, mental aspect here, we're seeing Tong Fury just walking back, almost trying to lure Flex into coming forward and then catching with either a jump in or a crouch medium kick. So almost trying to goad Flex into making the mistake, just lets it rip in the middle of that combo.
Both trying to go for lows there, Tong coming out just slightly ahead. The drive rush to try and close the distance, but Manon's drive rush is pretty anemic compared to the rest of the cast. Big Shinku Hadoken not quite going to get the kill. Goes for a second one immediately, which gets parried out. But Flex has to be very careful with the health bar. Gets clipped by the jumping heavy kick.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe the second super there from Tong Fury was accidental. If he had been buffering in place, and that's another thing we didn't touch on when we were talking about the risks of buffering the super like that. Is the game remembers your inputs for a while. It's quite a lenient window. So sometimes, if you're buffering too much and you just want to press a button or do a normal special, you might accidentally get the super.
Yeah, at a very inopportune time, but big punish counter throw and a perfect in the third game here. Tong Fury making a statement, looking to try and, complete the reverse sweep. But
Yeah,
that little
absolutely.
jab there makes sure it won't be another perfect either way.
Absolutely. Oh, and then just catches, I think, a grab there. And we're seeing some meaty strikes really doing some work. But there's a big DI on the walk-up overhead from Tong Fury. So now in burnout, does have some meter to get out of trouble, but we'll have to take the moment. And what a time. Finally bit on the infinite and eats a
Another
command
one!
grab.
And that second one catching the startup of the Hadoken as well, trying to find some way to escape the Manon Infinite and just gets grabbed for his troubles. There is
Yeah.
4 medals now, which is I think the most amount of medals Flex has been able to get across any of these games against Tong, so the level 3 gonna hit like a truck, any more command grabs gonna hit like a truck. There's 5 medals.
And now such a scary position. Tong just walking back again, trying to not give that space, and now has Flex in burnout, doesn't cancel, just lets it rip. Could almost be in chip territory, but it's just not quite enough, and now we'll get the CA with 5 medals. It won't kill, but it's going to leave a tiny little nib of drive gauge and not much health left as Flex gets the full drive gauge back.
Over 50% of the left bar done, and it doesn't matter because the empty jump to punish counter the parried attempt at the holding off the jump in is in fact Flex's downfall. It's a tale as old as time, the grappler brought low by the regular, humble, normal throw of another character.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw a few times it didn't work out, but we did see Flex relying or going to the parry when Tong Fury wanted to keep doing. There is a very awkward range for a lot of characters when someone is jumping over you at that distance and going for a cross up. Flex was representing the parry a lot in response to that. And at a clutch time, Tong went for it with the empty jump and gets the biscuits for the riskets. And, you know, it's one of those things that's really tough. A lot of characters at that range, it does seem like Ryu is particularly efficient at it, but you have to represent the jump back buttons, which feels counterintuitive when someone's jumping at you. But for many people, if you find yourself in that situation where your anti-airs are getting beat out or you're facing the wrong way, investigate your character's jump back. Usually a jump back jab, for characters like Bison and Marisa, jump back or neutral jump. Medium punch, very good option in a lot of those situations. So yet another thing to add to your mental stack. But if someone's jumping over you like that and you keep getting empty jump thrown in response to the parry, something that you can add to your repertoire.
Yeah, definitely. And once more, a Manon has graced our screen. This time it's a salty run back already. Shanks and Grant ran into each other for the very first stream game, now back fighting through losers, and have, destiny has brought them together once more to fight for our amusement. We'll see if, Grant's path through losers there, I assume was still playing the Kimberly, might have gone back to Ed for it, but we'll see if the Kim is more awake and online, and so far it looks like it, carrying Shanks into the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting that, I find Ed quite, obviously by design, good at controlling space, so can be quite good in some of those grappler matchups, but clearly sticking to the Kimberly and gets a great opening in the corner. There's the shimmy on Wake Up. Catches
Great shimmy
Shanks.
there. Yeah, I think regardless of if Grant wanted to play Ed for the matchup or not, the Bushinryu Mafia is there to make sure that that doesn't happen whether he wants it to or not. Another cross-up from the 6HK there. Shanks was actually asking in chat after their first match together what the counterplay to that was told. Just jab your way through it because it's not real, but not always necessarily able to immediately do that in the heat of the moment. And speaking of Grant able to pick up that first game there very decisively, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, you know, learning the solution is one thing. Getting into your muscle memory of when to challenge with stand jab to a lot of Kim's, if the Kim Mafia in chat will let me say it, fake pressure, not to blow up their secrets, but you know, knowing when to challenge and getting that timing is totally different. And obviously, and then just goes back there. Starting to see, we did see a button come out from Shanks, so now a big DI in the corner. But those sort of adaptations do take time, and as you said, knowing the solution and actually implementing it are two different things.
Yeah, definitely. And Kimberly's kind of airdrop that she can elbow drop rather that she can do in the air to, you know, hold her momentum is so good at catching people unawares. But every time Grant's gone for it so far, Shanks has just caught him out of the air and slammed him back down to the ground. Like, it's a really powerful tool in Kim's arsenal, but so far Shanks has been very ready for it.
And speaking of, does get baited into an anti-air there, and Sir Grant gets an opening going, but quite low on drive gauge, where Shanks is sitting on the full 100, while Sir Grant, I was about to say down to the last 20, but instead burns themselves out and goes for the reset. Oh, all right, someone has been, you know, Cyclops has been in his ear showing him some of the dirtier things that Kim is capable of, and then just the jump over, back throw into the corner levels this game up at around a piece, both fully stocked with level 3.
Yeah, the one unfortunate thing about doing that cheeky reset there is that was ordinarily exactly the kind of setup that a Kim would do their level 3 from. Blocks out the level 2, might see the level 3 here from the punish counter. No, we're going to see another reset, that time more of an accidental combo drop reset, I think, rather than a true reset, but either way...
Yeah, now we're just sort of slugging in neutral. That probably is to Shank's advantage, but ready with the DI response. It's a Grant, and now depending on the combo, just again goes for the reset. Could have spent the level 3 there and sealed it. Now we'll have to get one more touch. Oh,
and it's the elbow drop. Of all the things, Shanks had shown such good responses to the elbow drop, but the one time that he was locked out of it due to the DI is the one time that, you know, the Macho Man elbow comes down from the heavens and just obliterates him. But that's merely just the first game gone. The second game gone, rather. Shanks still has time to... Oh, another counter DI! Shanks still has time to kind of work his way through all of the Bushinryu bullshit, but whether he's able to or not, or whether Grant will continue to run wild with it, remains to be seen. Good command grab there.
Yeah, and I should just say Cyclops is disavowing the quarter mix that we saw in the last game. He's saying that's Beans, not him, so... refusing to take responsibility for that particular piece of Kim Tech. Oh, but speaking of Kim Tech, another reset, this time into the DI off the aerial combo. Goes for the dash up, but is ready. Baits it out with the dash up wake up after the dash up command grab earlier. Shanks takes this first round. One round in to starting to turn this losers round 4 match around. Or big counter sweep.
And being able to bait out the level 1 like that is so good. Oh, this is exactly the kind of situation you don't want to be in. But again, the combo just drops, unfortunately. But Grant already earned himself back the super that he spent the previous round. So level 3 is now both on deck for both of them. this could be it, but so far we've seen Grant pretty reticent to use level 3. Doesn't do it again. It could just be unfamiliarity with the character, you know, playing Ed most of the time, except when forced to by the Kimberly Mafia, you know, not quite as ready for the conversions, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's all the slide. Possibly safe enough, and the wall splat. Huge opportunity. Oh, but unfortunately the wrong follow-up from Shanks burns themselves out trying to keep that pressure going, and now burnt out in the corner. Does have the meter to react to the DI if necessary, but we might not see... Oh, and just the back throw to get out of trouble, and a jab to interrupt as well.
Yeah, Shanks has been... Well, I might be speaking too soon there, but I was going to say Shanks has been... There it is! There's the Kimberly combo that we all know and love being hit with so well. This... Whoa, just a pixel. I was going to say this is going to kill, because supers in Street Fighter 6 have such a habit of lingering on that last pixel, even when they've killed. But that time, Shanks did survive on the pixel, but the pixel was not enough. So Grant was able to finish it off, seal the deal.
Yeah, and locks in a spot. The reward for that is fighting another Manon back-to-back. Get to see Flex Mastodon with the winner for the right to take on Tong Fury in our grand finals. So the Kim is warmed up. Some matchup experience on how to get around those buttons from Manon. I think, you know, someone more familiar with the matchup might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of Manon's normals outrange Kim in a lot of those situations. But for both of them, it is all about getting that offense started and keeping it going and cycling through your options so that you can keep your opponent guessing about what's coming next.
Yeah, and well, thanks to well, actually, we'll see. I suppose this is going to be, it's all on Sir Grant's shoulders right now if this ends the Manon streak, because if Sir Grant wins, there'll be no more Manons for the grand finals of this, having had every other stream match be a Manon. However, if Flex picks up the win here, then we will have seen a Manon on every single stream match tonight. Clearly, Volion's win last night has just given, you know, a 10% damage and effectiveness bonus to every Manon player in the region. They're all buffed up by his performance.
They're all inspired. They've all gone back to watch Volian v Margot at BAM at the start of the year. They want to play the character, and why not?
Exactly, Volian himself threatening to sign up as we're ending the final stage of the tournament, and there's a good counter DI from Grant to keep Flex in the corner, but Flex trying to fight his way out, not going to be able to do it at the moment, just having to hold all the Kim corner pressure.
Oh, the parry, and then just goes into the drive rush. A great option, but unfortunately a bit too far for the command grab, and that is a pretty simple couple of buttons to seal that for Sir Grant taking first blood in this losers final.
Yeah, and right now it's funny, it's like, ooh, another big truss up from the 6HK, but right now we're seeing almost like a reverse matchup where instead of the Russian character trying to constantly jump away from the grappler, we've seen a lot of Flex trying to jump away from Sir Grant, just trying to escape the relentless ground pressure that Grant's been trying to put out, but oh, eats the DI there, not able to counter DI. But that's only the first medal for Flex, so it's not going to do a ton of damage.
Great interrupt with the light there. There's some of that interruption we were talking about, that pressure that the Kims don't want you to know about, and then doesn't have the meter to respond to the DI off the jump in. And that will be the second round to Flex. We're already seeing some adaptations. I don't know if Flex was watching the last match against Shanks as well, but is sort of moving around when Sir Grant takes to the sky so that the anti-airs don't get mixed up by the mix or the elbow or the cross-up.
Yeah, just trying to make the kind of spacing considerations, which Kim can struggle with. More annoying, there's another hidden variable reset off the DI there. Into the corner we're gonna go. This, despite the health gauge differences, this could just be it. Goes to the slide instead, wake up level 2.
Oh, the rest of it doesn't...
This has to be... Resets instead, still gets the kill, so it's alright. But I promise you, as a Jamie player obsessed with using Jamie's tension, his command grab, you can get too lost in the source going for resets. Sometimes it's okay to just go for the super and confirm the kill, you know, instead of trying to get your 12th reset. I promise you, you will win regardless, but it doesn't matter. Grant's still picking up the win, putting down the can, keeping the pressure going.
Yeah, big can combo, and a win for Kim in the last patch was that the scaling was reduced so that it does a bit more damage. I know some of the Kimberleys with the big double can setups were particularly rejoicing about that because it did the damage worthy of spending the resources. Oh, the great interrupt again. It's not quite over for Flex, but just holding parry, blocks the DI, and Sir Grant taking the first round of this second match.
Yeah, has been getting caught a few times by that little Manon target combo with the second hit being an overhead, but hasn't been made to suffer too much for it. At the end of the day, it has just been a small chip of damage. Manon not super able to convert off it. Meanwhile, Grant just continuing to run a ton of corner offense. Does block it low.
Oh, drops the combo, but then picks it up again when Flex tries to interrupt. And so Grant taking that second game pretty quickly. Now just one game away. Let's see what Flex can do to stem this momentum. Kim, obviously, such a momentum-based character, so often that's a lot easier said than done as we get another opening off a whiffed DI and straight into the corner. So Grant getting to start the offense, but a great little jump out from Flex turns the tables.
Yeah, and Grant immediately just, every time Grant looks like he's going to be in the corner, immediately does everything he can in his power to reverse that situation. Once more, big jump over the command grab, back into the corner we go. That's a couple of times now, Flex has been caught pressing after Kim's standing heavy kick. It looks like, you know, being a stand heavy kick, it would be more negative than it is, but you actually can't press after it. It's... Oh, the hidden variable attempt that eats the jump in.
Pixel of health, but one good grip of... Oh, punish counter, but doesn't get it. Goes for the infinite. Oh, ready. Just walks under to be ready with a stand jab anti-air like it's Street Fighter 5. And we have match point for Sir Grant. And there's a big cross-up off that same mix-up that's been doing so much work so far. And again, gets another cross-up.
Yeah, this is kind of exactly it. You know, if your opponent has shown that they don't have a solid answer to what you're doing, just keep doing it because, you know, what's the worst that could happen? They finally have an answer for it, but you've run your offense like 4 or 5 times. You've gotten way more out of it than they have. This could be... It doesn't go for any of the supers. The level 3 might have maybe wanted a level 2 or something for the anti-air, but...
Yeah, or maybe even, I'd have to double check. Oh no, I was going to say maybe wanted the anti-air kicks. Somehow got the SA3, but congratulations to Sir Grant running through the back-to-back Manons. I think 3-0 both times, clearly showing some knowledge and comfort with the matchup, and sets up a showdown in Grand Finals against Tong Fury. So we will be seeing the Kim in some form, in some momentum, really coming in hot out of losers here, up against what we have seen was the Ryu. It'll be interesting to see if Tong Fury is persisting with Ryu as a character, or if that was specific to the grappler matchup. It's a bit hard to say because, as you said, all we've seen tonight are Manons.
Yeah, so this will be the very first chance, but I think Tong Fury is still locking in the Ryu. My heart still broken, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and if, like I said before, if this is how Tong Fury thinks they're gonna win, then that is what it is. But either way, shout out to Sir Grant for finally destroying the Manon death grip they had on the stream. Also, shout outs to both of our Manon players for playing well enough to earn themselves that death grip on the stream. But finally, we got Kimberly versus Ryu. Again, another newcomer versus, you know, the man as old as Street Fighter itself.
Yeah, absolutely. The OG, but the story is the same so far. So Grant getting the opponent into the corner and then just running this Kim offense. Oh, caught the shimmy attempt with the ODDP. Huge representation early from Tong Fury, potentially to put that doubt in Sir Grant's mind. Oh, but catches waking up with the slide, catches the toes, and it's first blood for Sir Grant, although obviously has a longer hill to climb coming in to this grand final from the loser's side. So as far as I'm aware, that will mean he will need a reset if he is going to be crowned champion.
Yeah, but yeah, one thing that Kim has going for her, definitely more than Manon does, is Water Slicer. Her slide does go onto fireballs, as we just saw there, which does make it more of a threat you have to be present-minded about. As Ryu, you can't just back up and throw fireballs, because you will very quickly... Oh, the Shoryuken whiffs in the corner. In Burnout does have level 3, though. Oh,
Doesn't
the
even need
DI
it,
just slightly mistimed there.
Yeah, the neutral jump coming out on top. Lift out that Sir Grant was maybe looking for that stun for the easy round finish. And it's Tong Fury leveling it up. Oh, and then gets a big opening off. I think that was a stand fierce. Now just the punish counter jabs, but no full follow-up.
The whiff grab, but Tong doesn't have any response to it. Just, I think, trying to see what this incredibly hyperactive child is going to do next.
Yeah,
And
really just letting Sir Grant show some of these resets and some of these options, potentially trying to get the download complete in this first game, particularly knowing when you're on winner's side, you've got a whole 3 matches. You can be just taking your time and downloading that whole time, knowing that if you get the download, you'll be fine in the reset bracket.
Yeah, big champion's advantage, and there's a big DI. Okay, doesn't quite carry to the corner, so not going to get the wall splat into level 3 combo. But speaking of wall flat splats, there's the DI for the stun into the level 3. That should clean this up. Easy peasy. First game goes over to Tong Fury.
Yeah, and absolutely no shame in a situation like that. So often you see people feel like they need to do a full combo after they get a wall splat or they get a DI crumple. If all you need is the level 3 to kill, just input it. Don't risk a drop, particularly if you're online, when you can just cancel into the level 3 and seal it like Tong Fury did there. You don't need to do a full spend, triple drive rush, Twitter combo if you don't need to.
Yeah, absolutely, and the same is also true of if you're just doing a regular combo, their health is getting down into pixels and you're unsure if the combo is gonna kill them by the end of it. If you have the ability to super cancel at the end of it, super cancel at the end of it. You know, just...
And that was an incredible DI and burnout to interrupt the gap in the string from Sir Grant. What a statement from Tong Fury to take the first round of this second match.
And Grant trying to start the corner pressure again, but Tong Fury able to jump out and begin the throw loops. Goes for a third one, but gets drive reversaled out of it. But Grant's drive gauge not looking the healthiest, but neither is Tong Fury with those OD Shoryukens represented again and again. Doesn't matter though, gets the throw, and that's the second game to Tong Fury. Might not even need the champion's advantage, could just make it a clean 3-0.
Yeah,
We're seeing a lot of comments in the chat from all the Kim players about the unfairness of an ODDP.
Yeah, well, I guess that you talked about how you can almost, you know, it can blow up in your face if you go for too many resets. And Tong Fury has clearly decided that when those gaps are there, going to test And so if Sir Grant's going to want to be a bit tricky, want to go for the tick throws, want to go for the resets, he'll just let it absolutely rip at Sir Grant's face. And in that second game, he was really working.
Yeah, this is the bit where you got to be careful about, you know, developing some really sick set play. Like, we all love really sick set play and having cool stuff you can do with it. But if your set play is being countered by just constantly being blown up, and you don't have a good response to that, then, like, unfortunately, you are just going to keep being blown up. So, Grant gonna have to pull out more than just resets from the bag of tricks to, if he wants to be able to start turning around this, you know, effort. But the slide under the fireball, talked about it in the very first game, comes back home to roost there as he cleans up the round with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And great patience from Sir Grant there. Knew that they had the life lead and just let Tong Fury chuck the plasma, take a little bit of space, dance in and out, not falling for the fireball feints, and then just picking the perfect time to slide because that was all the damage needed to take that round. Wow, just lets the super rip in the middle of that string. Another way to try and stop those resets and interrupt those gaps. You see Sir Grant going into burnout for the full spend, going to get the damage buff, going to get the speed buff, going to get a healthy chunk of that drive gauge back, and will take that into the next round. And the meter build in Street Fighter 6 is so quick that we'll probably at least get a level 1 before the end, if they get the chance. Big damage opportunity here from Tong Fury, but not
Good
enough
awareness on the throw tech. Now Tong Fury's the one in burnout, does have a level 1 super as a reversal if needed, but doesn't need it, just gets the throw. However, the advantage that Kim gets, as you said, the buffs from the level 3 continue into this round, so it's not the end of the world. It's not like if you're another character where you use a level 3 and a potential hyperactive buffer, shall we say, from Sir Grant.
Yeah, maybe
in
been watching
return
the stream.
to Tong Fury.
Yes, Tong Fury representing a bit of that in some of the matches on stream tonight. A bit of a taste of their own medicine there, and the offensive drive reversal to keep Tong Fury in the corner. Really clever stuff there from Sir Grant. Unfortunately, does get turned around and then just ready with the one button cancel into the level 3. Maybe it was 2, but either way, very impressive to turn the tide and have a very slight life advantage. And again, the crouch medium into the DI wall splat, and then has the combo to seal it. And that will do it. Tong Fury taking it 3-0 in what was a pretty rapid finish in that back and forth in that final game. So, Tong Fury, congratulations, this week's champion. And congratulations also to Sir Grant for making it to our grand finals. I guess hopefully it doesn't sting too badly that he didn't need Jamie in order to get back here.
I mean, look, the man is the two-time Fledgling's champion, so who am I to disagree with the methods? Tong Fury, that does mean, however, next fortnight, if he wins again, he will be on the 3 strikes and you're out rule, as it were, which he'll have essentially aged out of Fledgies for being too damn good. Needs to let other people have a turn. But either way, great stuff from him. Good stuff from Sir Grant, and, you know, especially if Tong does manage to get his hat trick, Grant definitely doing a good job of making himself look like a contender for the next throne. Especially the last time the Kims forced him to play Kim, he definitely looked the most uncomfortable on it. And the very first game of tonight, he looked a little uncomfortable on it, but since then, he kind of really came alive. I don't know, you know, what kind of medieval torture Cyan Beans did on him to whip him into shape, but whatever it was, it definitely seemed to be pretty effective. And of course, you know, you mentioned it earlier, and I mentioned it earlier too, but big shoutouts to Shanks and Flex Macedon as well, the 2 Manons just holding the stream near hostage for most of the night. Also, 2 names I am sure we will see you know, grabbing the crown for themselves at some point in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously thanks to everyone who got involved. I don't know if there was anyone, I think there was a few people early on who we didn't get to see on stream, but, we couldn't make this happen without players, and hopefully everyone's here to just have a good time and maybe learn a few tricks, some little bits of matchups that they don't know, and get that improvement going together. Obviously, shout outs to everyone behind the scenes as well, because we need players and we need people to run and organize things in order for us to just rock up and talk about Street Fighter for a couple of hours, which is the easiest job going when it comes to these events. So, shout outs to everyone involved in making sure that these things can happen.
Exactly. And shoutouts, of course, my dear co-commentator Boombox. Thank you very much for joining me on this wonderful night of nights. It's always a pleasure to share the microphone with you and talk some nonsense while we watch some Street Fighter. It's always a great time. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. I think we did pretty good at staying on topic. I don't think we got too distracted from anything non-Street Fighter related at all.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We would never do anything like that. But
locked in, always focus.
exactly, always locked in. But yes, thank you to all that came. Thank you to all that helped run it, and thank you to all the players. Big shout outs to Tong. I think that about does us for this week. Fledglings will, of course, be back next fortnight, same time. Sign-ups close at 8, I believe, unless they close at 7:30. Either way, 7:30 or 8, get your sign-ups in. Make sure you're done by then. We start at 8:30. We'd love to see you there. And until then, have a wonderful time. I've been Acer, and thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.